My name is Tanya Eurofeva. In this short video, I will show you how network theory can help us understand the dynamics of conflicts in modern worlds. In fact, the whole population of Earth can be described in terms of social networks. This enormous global network consists of myriads of different, more or less dense clusters connected with each other by strong or weak ties. The dense clusters are usually formed on the basis of some common attributes, such as culture or language. Scientists call this phenomenon network homophily. Another characteristic of network clusters is propinquity. It refers to the tendency to form relationships with those whom we encounter often. Between different clusters there are also structural holes. They are often breached by individuals seeking to connect with diverse people and share information. So actually, social networks are involved in diffusion of different ideas in population. Here's how it works. Diffusion in social networks typically follows an S-shaped curve. At first, only a few people adopt an idea. As they are passionate about it, they interact randomly with people in their personal network and promote it. Eventually, the number of people supporting the idea increases. At some point in time, the idea takes off on its own and needs no further stimulation from early adopters. It occurs when a balance between acting and not acting is overcome in response to a combination of internal and external factors. This point in time is called tipping point or threshold. After the tipping point is reached, the idea spreads quickly and soon is adopted by the majority of the population. And now, let's apply this theory to real-world issues and analyze dynamics of Euromaidan. One of the key ideas of this protest movement is that Ukraine should become the part of the European Union. Let's take a look at the diffusion of this idea. Initially, this idea received support among young people and in cities. However, the Ukrainian government refused to sign an agreement with the European Union. This has led to peaceful protests in several cities. As the idea spreads, more people in different regions join the protests. In January, the government attempted to stop the protests and introduced new anti-protests law. The protests intensified and became violent. This trend has continued in February. More people started to support the protest movement and even went to Kiev to fight against the government. However, the protests haven't reached the tipping point yet. The tipping point has happened on the 20th of February when snipers killed 70 people on Institutska Street in Kiev. People were in shock. The protest movement received enormous support. As I have already mentioned, the tipping point occurs when a balance between acting and not acting is overcome in response to a combination of internal and external factors. In this case, the external factor that accelerated the diffusion of the idea and helped to reach the tipping point was the snipers' attack. From this moment on, the Euromaidan protest movement received strong support on all levels. All key positions in the government were occupied by protest leaders. Is this the end of the story? Of course not. After the victory of Euromaidan protest movement, new protests have started in southeastern regions of Ukraine. This time, these protests were pro-Russian, against new government. How could that happen? Let's analyze the situation from the positions of social networks theory. Any social network consists of different interconnected dense clusters, which are usually formed on the basis of homophily. As we can see on this map, the dense cluster of ethnic Russians and other Russian-speaking people is located in the southeast regions. Geographical propinquity is another factor at play here. Southeastern regions are bordering Russia, so people there have more relations with Russians than with Eastern Europeans. Based on this information, we can say that Ukraine's social network consists of several different dense clusters created on homophily principle. This is a rough representation of the social network. As you can see, Western regions have more dense ties with Eastern Europe, while Southeast has more dense ties with Russia. At the same time, different clusters in this network are connected by weak ties. In February, Euromaidan leaders announced that they would like to revoke a law about the official use of second language in regions where more than 10% of ethnic minorities live. From this moment on, the situation destabilized and protests have started. Scholars state that when something threatens the existence of the cluster created on the principle of homophily, the density of the ties within this cluster increases. The weak ties with neighboring clusters become weaker or even disappear, and a lot of structural holes emerge. That is what has happened in southeastern regions of Ukraine. Russian-speaking clusters felt that the initiatives of new government threatened their existence. That led to the changes in network structure. That's how we can explain the events in Ukraine with the help of network theory and network analysis. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.